This is the last lecture of this very course. Let us reflect upon what we have done in these many weeks. It was an 8-week course. We first began with looking at the major milestones. The idea was to trace the history, how actually we have proceeded in these many years in terms of understanding the nuances of human behavior. We then looked at separate or very discrete type of concepts, although this type of segregation was based on convenience, because we cannot study every aspect of the human behavior at the same time. Therefore, different processes were examined, deliberated, discussed in different weeks. So, in 1 week we only talked about perception, then we only talked about emotion, exclusively we talked about memory for 1 week, personality for another week, genetics and environmental determinants, personality, intelligence, aptitude, all of this. Then this week we have been looking at the lab sessions. These were the sessions which were basically supposed to help you understand how to verify, how to quantify, how to empirically examine, how to experimentally ascertain that yes, this is the construct, this is what the theory says, okay, and this is a testable process, this is an observable thing. You can do it yourself, somebody else can replicate it, okay, and this is how you systematically come forward with an evidence based type of a finding. This is something that all sciences do, and this is what psychology has also been doing. In the lab sessions, you saw couple of demonstrations. For instance, you saw Muller-Lyer illusion. Now, any introductory book of psychology will talk about illusion, and then it will also definitely refer to Muller-Lyer illusion. What you saw here was too simple, no? That say you have arrowhead line, you have feather-headed line, and then you just ask the participant to look at the arrowheaded line and adjust the feather-headed line accordingly, and you calculate the percentage of error. Today what we are going to do is to basically look at alternative tools. Okay. Till now what we have done, they are all something that you can find in any lab manual of psychology. Okay. The traditional ones will tell you more of the paper pencil based test and the old apparatus, and the newer ones will tell you all computer assisted type of things. Because this is our last lecture, therefore our focus would be to think that can we redo things using the old apparatus. Okay. So, what you do is something new, you are trying to find out something which is an alternate based on the old apparatus. This could be one. The other could be that when I look at the tools and the techniques available that has been used in various lab sessions, do I still question something? Is there still something which is missing? Okay. Although this is an introductory psychology course, I won't go into the details of it, but I want definitely to touch on those issues so that you can keep thinking a thought which will later on make you move in newer directions. So, let me take the example of Muller-Lyer illusion first. Muller-Lyer illusion basically wanted you to move the feather-headed line, adjust the feather-headed line, okay, and based on the pointer, the experimenter used to calculate, okay, what is the distance of or what is the length of the feather-headed line. Now, imagine if you use your left and the right hand both, okay. So, once you use the dominant hand, psychology will say that no, one of your hand is dominant. So, if I use handedness bias schedule, basically an inventory which is used to measure how dominant you use your right or your left hand. Now, in psychology you will find a description of dominant left hand, dominant right hand, and then it also talks about something called anomalous dominance, means for certain types of tasks both the hands are preferred, and you cannot say that no, right or left dominates. So, those are the anomalous dominance cases. Now, I can very easily make 3 groups, left handed, right handed and anomalous dominance, and then I say that you know make adjustments with your dominant hand, with your non-dominant hand, and then I compare the 3 groups. So, I am using Muller-Lyer illusion, that very apparatus, but then what I am doing is little different. Okay. The second option could be, say for instance, I use the dominant hand, but then I say that the arrow-headed line and the feather-headed line, they will be made to be like this, they touch each other, and then I want the participant to make an outward movement. This could be one, and then I adjust the feather-headed line right at the end, and then I want the participant to make an inward movement, and then I say that fine with dominant hand and the non-dominant hand. Okay. What is the degree of illusion when it comes to making an inward versus an outward movement? Okay. And remember, inward outward movement has to do with the joints, the body joints. So, you can take biomechanics and add it with psychology and you come forward with a new direction. So, the tool remains the same, but then you have come forward with an alternate using the same old tool, and this can be done for approximately all psychological apparatus, whether new or old. Having talked about how to use the old tools, the old apparatus, okay, and search for new alternatives, let us now go into alternative tools and techniques. This is the topic of discussion that we will be taking up today. Now, what is psychology interested in? We are basically interested in understanding what goes in the brain of the individual. 2, even if I am not able to directly peep into the brain, or if I am not using certain techniques like the magnetic resonance imaging or the functional magnetic resonance imaging, still I would love to look at the behavior, the manifested behavior, and I would try to link it with what goes inside the brain. Now, I am interested in manifested behavior, but I would also love to correlate it, link it, interpret it with reference to what goes inside the mind of the individual or the brain of the individual. And then I am also interested in specific conditions, say like situation of a therapeutic session where I have a therapist and I have a client. Now, this is a scenario where my focus is exactly on certain types of symptoms, certain types of leads based on which I can deduce something, a conclusion which will help me sharpen my therapeutic intervention. The intervention which in turn will be helpful for the client. Similarly, if I am looking at some type of a relationship between any 2 variables of interest, these are the specific conditions that I am interested in. So, basically all psychologists, they are interested in manifested behavior mostly. Okay. Some might be interested even in the covert forms of behavior, but they would love to make interpretation in terms of what goes inside the mind or the brain and what happens in a specific conditions such as a special type of relationships or therapeutic sessions. Now, I can do this with 2 broad objectives. One, I am more of somebody who is interested into research. Now, if I have that knack, then I need to master certain tools. And second could be that I am not interested in doing research myself, but I am definitely interested in reading the research done by others. Okay. So, I am more into understanding, more into reading, studying. But then also you would realize that certain methods and statistics both become necessary evils. You have to understand it. Okay. And this understanding is essential because you want to bridge the gap between the theory and the practice. Okay. So, this is now overall what psychologists do, and you would realize that mostly people use either qualitative techniques or they use the quantitative techniques. And those who use the quantitative techniques, they largely dominantly use the tools which are either analysis of variance or regression analysis. So, it could be all different formats of analysis of variance, or it could be any form of regression analysis, but these are the two dominant tools which are used to analyze quantitative data. But then if you go deep down, you realize that these two tools might not be appropriate for handling every question that you are interested in. So, all types of questions might not be answered using these two dominant analytical tools, the ANOVA and regression. Now, understand one thing, why am I saying this? There is an ongoing debate. Okay. One is of course in terms of which technique to adopt. So, there is something called frequentist approach. So, analysis of variance, regression analysis, all those types of statistical techniques which are called the frequentist approach, and then there is something called Bayesian approach. Okay. These are two different types of approaches, and you need to be informed about these two techniques and the arguments based on which you can make a very informed decision whether to use the frequentist approach or the Bayesian approach when you analyze your own data. I am not going into these two details, but what is the reason, why am I saying this? The reason is that usually what happens whenever you go for a quantitative technique and you try to compare the data, basically you look for between individual results, between person result. Okay. And then your primary interest lies within the individual. Now, compare psychology with sociology. These two subjects are little different, and I always say that psychology is something that will always like to zoom in and focus at an individual, go within the individual, whereas sociology will always try to zoom out and look at the group of the individual. Of course, social psychology also does that, community psychology also does that, but mostly it is the sociologist who would like to always zoom out and look at the process, whereas psychologist would always love to zoom in. Now, when I zoom in, I am primarily interested looking within the individual. So, all the processes that takes place within the individual. But what happens? I show a tendency as a psychologist to generalize my findings, and when I look at this very aspect of my research, then usually I go and land up doing between individual analysis, between subject analysis. So, between and within are two important things that one always has to look at, and remember one thing, that our primary interest lies what goes within the individual, whereas our basic tendency is to always generalize what we have found in various individuals, those who become part of our sample. Now, let us come to new formats of data collections. We have seen the paper pencil format, we have seen the computer assisted formats. Now, if you look at the current trend, you say for example, let us take the research which are based on the functional magnetic resonance imaging for instance. Now, this is a new method of data collection which has a very heavy influence in psychology. Now, what happens in FMRI studies, you have number of measurements. Okay. At a given time, okay, you map the brain. So, you look at the space in the brain, okay, and then finally, you come forward with a very huge data which you compare against the behavioral tools. Now, look at any paper which has used FMRI as a tool in the study, you would finally realize that the voxels are analyzed using statistical tools. So, it is the t-test which is finally used to make a distinction between the non-presence versus the presence, okay, or the non-engagement of the brain versus the engagement of the brain. And again it is the statistical test, the t-test, the significance of which tells you, okay, whether the brain was involved or not. And again you make an assumption saying that because the oxygenated blood was being consumed in a particular area of the brain relatively more when the task was being performed, which is an indirect indicator that this part of the brain is responsible for the task that was being performed by the individual. Now, earlier people used to use the EEG data. Okay. One of the biggest things that one will always find as far as the contemporary trend of lab experimentations and research are concerned, you look at the mental process. So, you have to finally consider what are you actually looking at, the temporal process or the spatial process. At a given point in time, my brain thinks something, my mind comes forward with certain types of thoughts, imaginations, fantasies, ideas, emotions, and then I manifest it in my behavior. When I look at the time, okay, of course, FMRI is not a good tool. If I have to locate the space, FMRI becomes a good tool. So, even the latest technique has a great impediment, okay, because it cannot plot space versus time, okay, so that I can extract the action and dedicate it, that fine, at this very time, at this very location, this is what my brain underwent, this is why what my mind made me experience, and therefore, this is what my manifested behavior was. So, many of these things, the interplays, they are more and more inferential in nature. Let us take another example. We have looked at the emotion in one of the weeks. We also had a lab session on emotion. Now, let us look at the research that has to do with affect regulation, the regulation of emotions. Now, if I am looking at my affective state, what am I feeling right now? The strength of the emotion which I am experiencing, it basically depends on the preceding emotions. What I was experiencing just before this, what was I experiencing little before this, an hour before, couple of hours before, a day before, what have I been experiencing in last couple of days. All these things matter a lot. Now, when I try to assess the state of emotion, okay, basically what I look at is what am I experiencing at a given point in time. So, that is the temporal type of a thing, it is the temporal process. Whereas, this temporal process is not an indicator that it is mapping the present, immediate past, little more past, hours, days, months, okay, and so forth. I could be in a given state of mind for a relatively longer period of time, which runs into months, weeks, days, okay, or a couple of hours. Now, psychological tools have great difficulty in terms of assessing this, okay, and therefore, now this strength of affect, it differs across individual and is also related to individual's level of, say, neuroticism, depressiveness, self-esteem and so forth. And as we have understood that when you look at these very aspects, you realize that these are the things, this is the approach which basically provides exciting insight when we look at the regulatory process of the affect, as well as when we look at the maladaptive coping process. Now, there is a new alternative to it. There is something called experience sampling method, ESM. Now, what happens? Unlike the traditional questionnaire technique, the paper pencil based technique or the computer assisted techniques, basically participants, they fill out questionnaires at random time points throughout the day to measure the process in real time. So, what would happen? You have a relatively high frequency, unequal interval, it could be sequential dependency, and even you can go to the level of looking at the circadian rhythms. Okay. Now, each of these characteristics, it requires a specific data handling technique, and therefore, in the beginning I said that you require to master certain skills if you want to investigate certain things yourself. Now, the pragmatic approach to handle such data would be that you aggregate all of them, okay, over time or over space or both, okay, and you just make it like a traditional data. What is traditional data? In traditional data, you have the items and then you say that what are you feeling right now, and you have say something like a 5-point Likert scale, or I ask you that what have you been feeling nowadays. Okay. So, I do not say right now, but I say nowadays, and again I give you a Likert scale. But then finally, the tool that I am using, it gives me a set of scores. So, for each item I have just one quantitative value, whereas in the tool that I am talking right now to you, okay, what happens? You have for the same thing, for the same item, you have multiple scores, because throughout the day you have been doing it repeatedly. So, I have a big problem, because the same item has given multiple scores now. If I aggregate them, okay, then again it gives me a traditional data, it will help me lose certain things. No? So, aggregation basically leads to elimination of certain valuable information. Okay. I will not be able to share the full detail with you, but in defense research, when it comes to mental alertness, okay, vis-a-vis your physical capabilities and the impact of training, one of the biggest thing is that how to retrain yourself, so that even though your biological system becomes little sluggish, mentally you are still alert, and this is a big challenge even today also. Now, for such type of things, if I go for aggregating data, then of course, I get a compromise score, wherein certain valuable information will be lost. So, what was the impact of, or what was the variation in the circadian rhythm at that time? What was the variation in certain type of biological indicators of alertness at that point in time? Those informations gets lost. And suppose you are interested in the individual difference in variability of effect, okay, then again you realize that fine, aggregation does not help you out. So, one of the obvious ways of taking care of this is you go for a mean squared successive difference, MSSD. Okay. This is a technique which basically captures moment to moment variability, okay, and this is again an alternative tool. This is a new alternative. Okay. You do not go for the traditional pattern of data acquisition in psychology when you are mapping human behavior, rather you go for a different type of an approach. My interest is not to confuse you, but my interest is to tell you that the world does not stop here. What you have seen as part of this course, okay, there are newer developments that are coming up, okay, and I am sure by the time this lecture is over, and if you read on your own, you would find many new things that would have come up. So, clearly there are measures which basically represents different features. We are interested in the within person process, variation within the individuals, and then you always have to look at what are the methods that basically suit your research question. Methods are not important per se, rather the research question is far more important, and you have to have a good understanding of the methods, their appropriateness, their limitations, okay. And then you choose a method which actually suits your research question. Second important thing is that, is there a possibility of tweaking with the method? Can I go for little revision in the method that I am going to use to basically suit my research process? I customize the method a bit, which is scientifically acceptable, which is very much replicable, because these are the questions which will basically help me understand human behavior, and this is my intention as a psychologist. And but then I am always driven by this whole fantasy that finally whatever I observe, that very behavior I have to finally generalize, so that I can claim that this is how human beings do. This is what goes within the individuals. This is how the behavior can be explained and narrated to the rest of the world. Before we end this discussion, I would like to focus on something which is of utmost importance and gradually over a period of time has become excessively significant as far as research is concerned, studies are concerned. There is something called the ethical code of conduct, and over a period of time it has become mandatory for all researchers to take care of these ethical code of conduct. So, I would succinctly like to just focus on it, so that you also can take care of it. This is important for conductance of the study. This is also important for publication of the study. And this is also important even otherwise if you look at things from the point of view of legality. The first and the important thing is that you have to go ahead with the informed consent. So, basically there is a form, you have to design a form before you are conducting a study, and you obtain the consent of the individuals who are participating. This can be done either in person or it could be done through electronic transmission. Important thing that you have to take care is the fact that informed consent should actually be in the language that is reasonably understandable by the participants. So, if I have a Hindi speaking group, I will have to have the informed consent form which is either only in Hindi or English and Hindi. If I have different language group, I have to take care of the language of the participants so that whatever is written in the informed consent form, the participants can understand it easily. In case your study involves illiterate participants, then you have to take special care. Further, if you involve people who are basically legally incapable of giving their informed consent, then also you have to go for an appropriate legally authorized person who would sign on their behalf. Similarly, if you are working on people who are not of the legally acceptable age range to give consent, then again you have to go for their parents or guardians who would sign the informed consent form on their behalf. But before you take their consent on a proper informed consent form, it is advisable not to conduct the study. The primary obligation of all researchers, all psychologists, is to maintain the confidentiality, and therefore, all information that you derive out of your study, whether it is a clinical trial, whether it is a lab based experimentation, field based study, the confidentiality of the information has to be maintained, it has to be protected. This is true even for the recordings. Nowadays, we always go for voices or images or video footages. For all of that, you have to take permission from the person. While doing this, the primary thing that also has to be taken into account is that you have to minimally intrude into the privacy of the individual. So, you should basically look at the fact that the communication that you are making, whether it is written or oral, should be very, very appropriate, very, very scientific, and it should have that professional flavor. Try your best that you do not intrude into the privacy of others. Further, there are certain things where you have to or you may be required to disclose the confidential information with the appropriate consent of the organizational clients or the individual clients or the legal authorities. But then there are certain laws, there are certain guiding principles, and everything, the disclosure that you make has to take into account these many facts. As far as the publication part is concerned of your research data, the purpose of the research, the expected duration, the procedure you have to mention in the informed consent form. You also have to tell your participants that they have the right to decline to participate, or they can even withdraw from the research after they have begun their activities in the research. So, they might have started the process, but then whenever they feel they have the right to withdraw. Then there could be certain issues wherein you have to very clearly state the potential risk, the discomfort, the adverse effect, the prospective benefit that the researcher might get, the prospective benefit that the participant might expect, the confidentiality part that you would maintain it, the incentive if you are providing to the participant. You might even talk about the limits to confidentiality with the participants. And then you have to very clearly state whom to contact if the participant has any question related to the research or the rights of the participants, or if the participant wants to know the findings. Remember that you can always ask only for the observation based on your personal data. You cannot ask for the observation made on the data of others. But as a researcher, you have to disclose who is the authorized person whom the participants can meet, talk to or write to. Now, psychologists, they conduct intervention research, okay, where certain type of treatments are also provided, certain interventions are also provided, okay, and there are different code of conduct for that, and that has to be followed religiously. So, primarily our intention was to understand human behavior in totality. Our intention was to understand the hidden process which is not so glaringly visible to public at large. What goes within, what comes afterwards, how the behavior gets manifested, and is there a pattern within an individual and between individuals, so that we can generalize that this is how human beings behave, this is what leads to one type of a behavior, and that is what leads to the second set of behavior. This course was basically customized to help you understand all this. We also had the lab sessions to help you understand things better, to empirically find out yourself how theories are built, how theories can be tested, how hypotheses can be made, and we also ended with certain alternatives that you can always think for. So, I hope this course helped you understand human psychology little better.